Hi, this is Wendy for CIS 117, and for this week's See the One, Be the One by Teaching, we're going to be exploring indexes, or indices. Oh well, having fun with indices. When we search or query a database, we're searching for a row or multiple rows of data that will satisfy whatever condition we've been tasked with. If our search condition involves retrieving a lot of rows from multiple tables, it could be a very lengthy process depending on how big your database is. One way to speed up the process is to create an index. You need to be familiar with your database and your queries and know which queries could use an index to improve performance and which ones don't really require an index because they're already fast enough. Queries that are run often and have specific conditions are what you really want to focus on. It's up to you to determine the columns that you want to build an index on, and that depends on what the query is returning and also determining if the index will really be a benefit, because there are advantages and disadvantages to implementing an index. The main advantage is that they, of course, increase performance, but they have two main disadvantages, and that they take up space on your disk, and that the database management system must update the index whenever the corresponding data in the database is updated. So you have to keep that in mind. There are clustered and non-clustered indexes. I won't go into that much here. I think the clustered are basically based on the primary key. Microsoft Docs has some good information on clustered and non-clustered. First, you need to determine the columns you want to create the index on. So that's where it pays to know your queries. I'm going to use our class database, the CIS 117 database. So suppose I need to frequently search the database and find customer names. I need to send out email lists or just lists in general. So I need to search the index. Let's just say I just want to use it, search it by name instead of using an index on the customer ID field. And I also frequently need to produce reports using pricing data in the items table. So you can create an index on only one column of a table, like this table over here. Customers already has an index on it. It's a clustered index on it's called customer PK, customers PK. So, and it's based on the, it is based on the customer ID field. So I'm going to create an index that's a non-clustered index just on the last name and the first name field. Okay, so you can use the create index command, and you give the index a name. You list the command, name of the table name which the index is being created on, and in parentheses behind the table name, you list the column or multiple columns the index is being created on. So in this case, I've listed a couple of commands here. So my first one is create index customer name on customers, and then in parentheses, customer last name, customer first name. So if I go ahead and run that and execute it, I get the command that it completed successfully. And the next one is create index called pricing on the items table, and I'm creating it on the unit price and the cost. So these are both going to be non-clustered. And execute it, and it completed successfully. So if I go in and refresh my database, not that way, and then go into the tables, I can see under the customers table, and by expanding the indexes, that I now have a non-clustered index called customer name. And then of course there's the clustered index called customers PK, which is customers, a clustered index based on the customer ID field, which is the primary key. So then let's go into the items table and indexes. And we have somebody created another non-clustered index on the title, named title artist and UNQ. And then here's the one that we just created, the pricing, non-unique, non-clustered index. Because there are several different types of indexes you can create. You can create a unique index, and I won't go into that here. But it's also interesting to note that an index is actually a table and actually has a data structure. And I won't go into how you can view that. You can explore that on your own. And that one table may contain one or more index tables. And it's just as easy to drop an index, and the command for that in SQL Server is drop index. And it's kind of like qualifying. You drop index, you list the table and a period and the name of the index. So in this case, I want to drop the customer name, cust name, and then the pricing. So I'll highlight that, execute it, and it says it completed successfully, and execute it. Refresh my database. Go into the tables, customers, indexes, and we no longer have the cust name index. And under items, indexes, we no longer have the pricing index. So that's pretty much it. You can alter indexes also. You can use them to create a unique constraint, and that's also explained in the Microsoft Docs. And that's all for Fun with Indices today. Thank you for listening.